As I'm sure you've heard many times before, it's a good idea to check your mobile phones to ensure that they are off or in silent mode. During the event, please avoid leaving the room unless it's absolutely necessary, since we are live streaming and recordings, and any noise coming through the open doors will be picked up by the microphones. We're all aware of the heightened concern now regarding COVID-19. I'd like to remind you that policies are in place in this building that require us to wear masks at all time, with exceptions made only during the delivering of remarks during this event. And afterwards, we look forward to welcoming you at the reception just down the hallway to the right on this floor. Mask policy also applies there, and we ask that when you're not eating or drinking, please try to keep your masks on. Followed by Dr. Brian Motherway, who heads the Energy Efficiency Division at the IEA. We'll then hear from 4 leaders of the Energy Efficiency Hub's task groups who are carrying forward the main work of the Hub. So, without any further ado, I'd like to give the floor to Mr. Benterbusch, who, in addition to chairing the Energy Efficiency Hub Secretariat, is also Deputy Director General in the German Federal Ministry for Economic Affairs and Energy. Ulrich, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Good morning and good afternoon to all of you. As chair of the Energy Efficiency Hub Steering Committee, I am delighted to announce that the Hub has begun operations. And all of us who are members of the Hub are very proud of this moment. This moment is excellent to say thanks. Thanks, of course, to all of our colleagues and members who have helped us to set this up. But a special thanks, of course, goes to the Executive Director of the International Energy Agency, to Fatih Birol, who has helped us, and without his support, we will certainly not have this moment today. The 16 founding members, they do understand how crucial energy efficiency work is, and that is why they have decided to work together on energy efficiency multilaterally. Of course, we all know that renewable energy and much more renewable energies are crucial for combating climate change. But on the other hand, without significant progress in energy efficiency, the realization of the Paris goal of limiting global warming to 1.5% is very, very difficult to attain. And therefore, we are grateful that the 16 members from east to west of the planet and north to south together already account for 60% of energy use and carbon dioxide emissions. So this group does have a crucial majority, a crucial power to change things. Each member has significant accomplishments when it comes to energy efficiency. And we did make progress in recent years. Many of us have economic growth without using more energy. But when it comes to energy end use, in many of our countries, if not all, it's stable. And therefore we know that there are still a lot of challenges that we have to solve to get this down. We also know that it is not enough that we do well. To meet global challenges requires countries to do better. And working in concert, international organizations together with partners, the Hub will strive to share its work more broadly and to learn from others. The German government has especially engaged in setting up the Hub. And that is why we acknowledge the special role that energy efficiency has to play at global level. And I'm pretty sure that this support will not vanish, even with the new government. Much to the contrary, I'm convinced that the new government will even more rigorously support energy efficiency, renewable energies at home, in Europe, but also internationally. There are already a range of organizations working together when it comes to energy efficiency, gathering data, analyzing market and technology trends, harmonizing international technical standards, fostering exchange among businesses, industry, banks, and experts, and assisting emerging and developing economies. The Hub, thou, is unique in providing a platform for, in particular, two things: government-to-government exchanges on energy efficiency policy, regulation and implementation, focusing on relevant topics that are challenges for all member countries. And at the same time, it provides a platform for international organizations, initiatives to exchange, to cooperate, to increase their impact on setting the global agenda on energy efficiency. The Hub will undertake the government-related work through topical task groups that are led by members, and 4 of them have joined us today to talk about their aims and how they will accomplish them. The Hub members agreed that the work of the Hub would best be served by locating its secretariat at the IEA here in Paris, and that is with a special thank that we have accepted that offer. And it is not only Paris and the IEA, it is also because the IEA has substantive work going on energy efficiency, and that is, the idea of creating synergies in this collaboration. And with that, I want to thank you and hope that you will join us for cooperating in the Energy Efficiency Hub. Many thanks to you all.
Thank you, Ulrich, for those remarks from the Steering Committee Chair's position. I'd like to turn now to the International Energy Agency's Executive Director, Dr. Fatih Birol. Dr. Birol, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. And greetings, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, friends. It's a great honor for me to be here at the launch of the Energy Efficiency Hub. Seeing so many member countries here in person and many of them online is a great pleasure, and especially to many thanks to the chair, Ulrich Bentowbusch. Thank you very much, Ulrich, and very many thanks for leading the process and bringing us, all of us here today. And also among the participants, I see Ambassador Kozandia. Mr. Ambassador, very nice to see you, sir, here once again at our headquarters. So, dear colleagues, we at the IES, since almost 7 years, if I am not wrong, we call the energy efficiency as the first fuel. And even, I'm sure my colleague Brian Motherway, who is our energy efficiency guru, would remind me, we call it the very first fuel, the energy efficiency. Why we say so? Because as Mr. Bentowbusch mentioned, energy efficiency is a major tool to address climate change, but also a major tool to secure energy, and also at the same time to make sure that our money is in our pocket. And energy efficiency in the days of the economic rebound and the finding employment for the labor, we also see energy efficiency as a job-creating machine. A lot of jobs can be created, and it could be a good way to challenge the unemployment numbers in many countries. We at the IEA, we put a lot of effort on energy efficiency policies, working with governments, but we put a lot of emphasis on the emerging countries, where we see there is a huge potential there, and therefore I am very happy that we have many countries from the emerging world who are members of this energy efficiency hub. COP26, one of the major topics on COP26 was energy efficiency. I can tell you, which made me very happy, and it is one of, in my view, the achievements there which didn't get a headline in the newspapers, but it changed the real life. One of them is the SEAT, SEA, the call to action for great ambition for energy efficiency products. And here I would like to thank the UK Minister Greg Hunt. Together with him, we have discussed these issues, how much having the right norms, standards for the products can change our electricity demand, therefore emission trends, and also the needed capital for building new energy projects. And I was very happy that the SEAT will be part of this energy efficiency hub family here, and we also partner with the Clean Energy Ministerial as well. So I am also, these are good news, but there is of course always a bad news. The bad news is we have very recently, in fact last week, we published our energy efficiency market report. At the IEA, we believe in numbers. We are a data-driven organization, and the large team, one of the largest teams in the IEA, the Energy Efficiency Division, they came together and they look at the energy efficiency improvements. The energy efficiency improvement last year was slightly better than the previous years. This is, of course, not a bad news, but the bad news is that in order to reach our climate targets, to be in line with the IEA's net zero strategy, the improvements, the efforts need to be tripled, so 3 times higher, which is an important challenge for all of us. And of course, I believe Ulrich, I'm sure Energy Efficiency Hub, with its all activities working with the IEA, with the other international organizations, have to achieve this tripling of the energy efficiency improvements. I am extremely delighted to host the Energy Efficiency Hub in our premises here at the IEA. We are, for the colleagues who are not here in person, we are in Paris, in a very good, nice area of Paris. I don't know if you agree with me, Ulrich. This is a very nice part of Paris, and we are happy that we host other international organizations such as the Clean Energy Ministerial, and we all together hopefully reach our international energy and climate goals. So I consider the launch of Energy Efficiency Hub as an important signal, and I hope that it will help the momentum to improve energy efficiency. And the very good news that the SEAT will be a part of this efficiency hub is a good news for me. Many thanks. And once again, welcome, re-welcome to Ulrich Bentobusch. And again, we welcome to Jonathan Sinton as well. He's also a former IEA colleague, and I see that we have other colleagues. Welcome to IEA premises as well, and all the member countries here of Energy Efficiency Hub. Welcome to IEA, and we are so happy, pleased to host the Energy Efficiency Hub at our premises here in Paris. And next time, hopefully when we have this meeting, we hope to have all the countries here in person in Paris. We would like to host all of you here. I thank you very much, and perhaps I go back to Jonathan for the next item. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Birol, and thanks once again for hosting the hub here. The Hub Secretariat's office is, in fact, located within the Energy Efficiency Division at the IEA. It's headed by Dr. Brian Motherway, whom I'd like to invite to speak next. Brian, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jonathan. And let me add to Dr. Birol's welcome, a warm welcome to everybody. First of all, today to this event. We're very pleased that many countries are with us in person as well as online. You're all very welcome. And also to add my welcome to the Hub and to its Secretariat hosted here at the IEA. We're delighted to have you here, Jonathan, Christina and Sarah. We're delighted to have you as part of the global campaign to really address energy efficiency's urgent need for stronger action. And as Dr. Birol said, we're at a moment post-COP26 when the focus is on faster delivery, faster policy in all domains of clean energy, but led by energy efficiency, the first fuel. And our analysis shows clearly that if we don't lead with energy efficiency, well then all our other challenges related to clean energy and decarbonisation, if not impossible, are certainly harder, more expensive and more challenging. And that's why the world needs the hub. That's why the Energy Efficiency Hub is such an important instrument to allow countries to learn from each other, to collaborate, and to find ways to work together to strengthen their efficiency policies and to strengthen their impact, which benefits citizens in terms of lower emissions, cleaner cities, healthier buildings, lower energy bills, and of course job creation, all of which are very vital goals to all of us at the moment. We in the IEA are really looking forward to working very closely with the Energy Efficiency Hub, all of the task groups, the Secretariat and all of its members. We look forward to our work mutually reinforcing each other, the kind of work that we do on analysis and research and engaging countries, and the kind of work that the Hub is going to do in terms of collaboration and exchange. It's all very mutually beneficial and mutually complementary, and we really look forward to learning from the work of the Hub, and hopefully that our work can be useful to the Hub as well and to all of its members. As Dr. Birol said, we're delighted with the first set of task groups the Hub has agreed to start, and we're going to hear from them shortly. Of course, we're delighted to see SEED as one of the key task groups. The IEA has the privilege of coordinating this task group, a very significant international initiative on energy efficiency, which also has an association with the Clean Energy Ministerial. But I think it becoming a Hub task group is really going to step up its profile and its strength, and so we really thank the Hub and SEED and all of the partners for agreeing to step up and engage on this work more strongly. We're also delighted that digitalization is going to feature very strongly in the work of the Hub from the very beginning, and we congratulate the US for establishing a new task group on this, and we look forward to working closely on this topic, which of course is also a priority for us here at the IEA. And of course, Top 10s and EMAC, two excellent task groups on really important topics, and you'll be hearing from representatives of those task groups shortly. I'm sure there will be more task groups. I'm sure there'll be excellent work coming from the Hub, as there already is. We, Jonathan and Ulrich in the IEA, are your willing partner. We're looking forward to staying engaged, as we have in recent years, in the development of the Hub, and now into this exciting phase of its operation and delivery of important benefits. So thank you. Thank you for inviting me to participate today, and I look forward to the discussions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brian. Before going any further, I do want to recognize the efforts that have been made by the Hub members to establish it. Those are Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, Denmark, the European Commission, France, Germany, Japan, Korea, Luxembourg, Russia, Saudi Arabia, the United Kingdom, and the United States. Representatives from many of them are here today, and I echo Dr. Birol's sentiment. It we look forward to the day when we can all be together physically in the same room, not simply virtually or in a hybrid setting such as this. The Secretariat began its activities just this past September, and thanks to the groundwork laid by its members, it's already approved 4 task groups, as previously mentioned, and the leaders of those will speak presently. We've also launched the Hub's initial web page and designed the Hub's visual identity. Please visit our page at www.energyefficiencyhub.org. Follow us on Twitter at EEHubORG. In the coming months, we'll be expanding our online presence to serve our members better and the community beyond. The Hub is, as we've heard, intended to be a platform for global collaboration on energy efficiency, and we're looking forward to working with other international organizations and with others beyond the Hub's membership. But the heart of the Hub's work is really in the task groups. The task groups are where the Hub members are going to focus their attention and their resources to learn from each other on how to improve the formulation of their strategies, policies, and regulations on energy efficiency, and how to strengthen their implementation, which is, as we've heard, an urgent matter. The task groups will be the source of the lessons that emerge on best practices that the Hub members exchange with each other, and which we as the Hub Secretariat will be communicating more broadly. The Hub members do share a common interest in energy efficiency, but they're diverse in their needs, in their approaches, and that's why the Hub and its task groups is designed to be flexible, encompassing task groups that deal with the range of issues that members face. And some of the task groups may have just a few members, some may involve nearly the entire membership, and some may deal more with policy issues, others may deal more with practice. And this is possible because the task groups are run by the members themselves, and each of them is led by one member or a small group of them. The leaders can appoint an operation agent or a coordinator, and the members agree among themselves what their work program will be, what their respective responsibilities are, and what resources they will bring to bear. This flexible framework makes possible a variety of approaches, levels of activity suited to the needs of the members as they change over time. The role of the Hub Secretariat is to facilitate that work, the work of the task groups, to make sure that they're connected with the right organizations and experts in the broader community, in the public, private, and in the academic sectors. Much of the communication about the task group's work is going to be through our website and through occasional online events and in-person events eventually, and reports as well. We'll be participating also in key international events where it serves the needs of the Hub members. Now to the task groups, and to introduce those, I'd like to invite my colleague at the Hub Secretariat, Kristina Klimovich, to take the floor. Kristina, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Jonathan, and greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be moderating the task group session. So today we'll hear interventions from 4 task groups of the Hub. First, we'll hear from the Energy Management Action Network, or EMAC. Originally, this task group was established in 2009 under the leadership of Japan, and EMAC is specifically focusing on energy management systems and related policies. In fact, to date, EMAC has held 13 workshops to facilitate exchange among various countries on energy management best practices. Our speakers today will be Mr. Hashino from Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry in Japan, and Mr. Sugai from the Energy Conservation Center of Japan. Then we'll hear from the Top 10 Energy Efficiency Best Available Technologies and Best Practices Task Group, or in short, Top 10s. China and Australia jointly led the establishment of top 10s in 2013. The task group aims to select and promote the best energy efficiency technologies and practices, focusing on key energy consuming sectors. We'll be joined by Ms. Lilia Jiang from China Quality Certification Center to speak about top 10s with us shortly. Next, we'll hear from the Super Efficient Appliances Deployment Initiative, which was referenced earlier by Dr. Birol, established in 2009 under the auspices of the Clean Energy Ministerial. The group is currently led by the United Kingdom, European Commission, India, and Sweden. SEED is recognized as a key international platform for global and regional exchanges on policymaking for product energy efficiency. And we'll be joined today by Ms. Laura Gritt from the Department of Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy from the UK, who will present SEED to us all. And the last but not least, the newly established task group of the Hub is called the Digitalization Working Group, led by the United States. Over the coming decades, the adoption of digital technologies is really poised to accelerate, and thus digitalization can really make energy systems more connected, more efficient, and more intelligent. We'll be joined by Ms. Meredith Evans from Pacific Northwestern National Lab to speak on this topic. And at this time, I would like to pass the floor to Mr. Hoshino from the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry of Japan to introduce the IMAC task group. Mr. Hoshino, welcome. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Distinguished participants, and Dr. Fatih Birol, Executive Director of IEA, Mr. Ulrich Winterbusch, the Chair of the Hub, my friends Brian, Jonathan, Christina, and ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, and evening. Although participating virtually this time, but I am enjoying now seeing the beautiful scenery of your background through window in Paris through my monitor. First of all, congratulations on holding this memorial launch event of the Energy Efficiency Hub. As we all aware, energy efficiency is always a key for our energy transitions. And the first fuel, as Dr. Birol said, concerning energy security and the environmental issues. That's why our collaborations activities under the Energy Efficiency Hub in the IEA is remarkably important. It's a great honor for me to attend this event on behalf of Economic Ministry of Japan, and pleased to announce that we can resume our activities of IMAC that Japan leads as one of the task groups under the Hub. We strongly believe that IMAC will be part of an effort to further promote international energy efficiency through collaboration, not only among the public, but also between both public and private sectors to achieve global decarbonization. I would appreciate very much various members' participation for that, and excellent support from the members and the Secretariat. Since 2010, a lot of fruitful workshops and seminars of IMAC have been already taking place in many countries to exchange views and discuss the best ways through a network that policymakers and practitioners gathered. We, Japan, would like to continue to lead these useful activities under the Hub with member countries. Today, my colleague, Mr. Sugai, from the Energy Conservation Center of Japan, is attending as the operating agency of the IMAC activities. I'd like to end my introduction here and give him the floor to present more details on our activities and plans. Thank you very much. Sugai-san, please.
Thank you very much for introduction, Mr. Hoshino. My name is Naoya Sugai of Energy Conservation Center of Japan, ECCJ. It's my great honor to be able to attend the Energy Efficiency Hub launch today. We are working as an operating agent of EMAC entrusted by Ministry. Now, Mr. Ando, my colleague, will introduce the outline of the program. Mr. Ando.
Good evening from Tokyo. I'm Toshio Ando of ECCJ. It's a pleasure to meet you and describe Energy Management Action Network. Slide, please.
Can we have the slides up, please? Thank you.
Previous one, please.
The first slide, please.
Yeah. EMAC task group consists these 7 members countries. Japan leading and hub member from Japan is Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry. EMAC activities will be operated by the Energy Conservation Center, Japan, our groups, and to lower risks such as climate change and supply chain security. EMAC set strategic goals as shown here. EMAC will facilitate sharing of information, experience, and best practices on energy management systems for industry and buildings. EMAC will facilitate implementation of policies and help to ensure sharing good practices with others emerging countries. Next, please. This slide shows the background of the EMAC. EMAC produced 11 publications and organized 13 events with participation of 10 other EIP member countries. Recent outcomes are as shown. First, disseminate best practice of energy management from private and public sectors in Vietnam. Second, discussion between participants in Brazil results action guide on electricity peak cuts and savings for demand management and demand response. Third, explore on designing and implementing award programs in Indonesia. Photo left shows discussion best practice at EMAC 10 in Vietnam. Some participants attended through online. Middle shows networking lunch for stakeholders in energy efficient and conservation at EMAC 9 in Brazil. And right shows panel discussion energy award programs at EMAC 8 in Indonesia. Next, please. This slide shows proposed activities of EMAC and deliverables. In 2022, online workshop will be organized in Malaysia in March. Because Malaysia has strong interest in energy efficient buildings, the workshop will aim to provide case study for step-by-step approach to constructing energy efficient buildings, to discuss how to overcome common challenges in implementation of energy saving policies by regional representatives, to provide a networking opportunity to participants from public and private sectors. After 2022, annual workshops will be held in select regions to be decided by member countries. Graphs shows organization profile of participants of recent 3 workshops. Half is policymaker, and the other half belongs embodiment of E and C. This makes it the expected achievement our strategic goals. Thank you very much. And that's all of my presentation.
Thank you very much, and I would like to thank our colleagues from the Energy Conservation Center and also from the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry of Japan for this presentation of EMAC. And now I'd like to turn to Ms. Lilia Chiang from China Quality Certification Center to speak about top 10s. Lilia, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Christina. Dear distinguished guests and colleagues, it's a great pleasure to attend the launch event of Energy Efficiency Hub. Next, I would like to make a brief introduction of top 10s. As we all know that energy efficiency improvement is an important basis for enhancing energy security, optimizing energy structure, and improving environment quality. And it also plays an important role in promoting ecological and sustainable development. To improve the global energy efficiency, the deployment and application of energy efficiency technologies and practices is one of the pivotal areas. So in this context, that China and Australia jointly led the establishment of top 10s task group under the framework of International Partnership for Energy Efficiency Cooperation in 2013. The objective of top 10s is to select and promote the best energy efficiency technologies and improve energy conservation methods in key energy consumption sectors, such as the sector of industry, building, transportation, and others, so as to promote industrial upgrading, realize resource conservation, and environment protection. In this year, top 10s has been transferred to the Energy Efficiency Hub. The objective of the task group is highly consistent with the hub's objective of supporting coordination and the sharing of information, best practices, and research. We believe that the task group will contribute to the fulfillment of the hub's objective. Since the launch of the top 10s in 2013, the government sectors of the member countries have paid great attention to the task group and also played active roles in the multilateral cooperation. In the years past, the achievements of top 10s were fruitful. A set of harmonized evaluation methodology and indicator was developed with the full consideration of the factors of economic benefits, environment, health, and safety. Based on this set of evaluation methodology and indicator, 2 batches of international top 10s lists were developed, which represent the member countries' most energy efficient technologies and practices used to reduce energy consumption and dioxide emissions. After 2 rounds of the evaluation work, top 10s has final clarification and wide coverage now. Furthermore, with the firm support of China, bilingual top 10s periodical is published this year with the joint efforts of the member countries. It systematically concludes the work done and the achievements gained by the task group in the previous years. In order to enhance the influence and significance of top 10s, a variety of promotion events have been carried out on the international level, relying on the G20 set events, BRICS cooperation mechanism, and other bilateral cooperation framework, for example, the China-US Energy Efficiency Forum, China-Japan Forum on Energy, Saving and Environment Protection. The exchange and the docking of the energy efficiency technologies has been facilitated vigorously, and the corresponding platform to promote the going out and the bring in technologies has been established. And on the domestic level, various promotion events have also been carried out. For example, in China, top 10s was adopted as one of the key promotion elements in the National Energy Conservation Week from the year of 2019 to 2021, and the award ceremony was also held. And in Japan, top 10 was taken as the case of government enterprise cooperation and program, and in-depth report has been made in the influential periodical. And moving forward, top 10 will start the new round of work with the full consideration of two very important elements. One is the evaluation, and the other one is the publicity and promotion. In details, the task group will firstly optimize the evaluation methodologies and indicators. In this process, the practical demands of different economies and different energy consumption sectors will be taken into account. And secondly, the member countries will be encouraged to conduct influential promotion activities and develop corresponding mechanisms to support the wide application of energy efficiency technologies and practices. And thirdly, the cooperation between the government sectors and market actors will be encouraged to facilitate the transfer of the technology and also the communication of energy conservation management experience. And lastly, the task group will promote top 10s to be adopted in the bilateral and multilateral cooperation agenda to increase its influence. Back to the present, we know that lots of countries have made the commitments of peaking carbon dioxide emissions and reaching carbon neutrality. We believe that energy efficiency will play an important role in fulfilling these commitments. As the leader of the task group, we would like to improve energy efficiency by expanding top 10's cooperation areas and diversifying the cooperation forms with the member countries so as to reduce the economic and the social development's independence on the increase of energy demand and carbon emissions. Right now, the existing members of the task group are China, Japan, Korea, Russia, and Brazil. And other countries or regions interested in top 10s are welcomed to be the members. And we're looking forward to a new prospect for win-win international cooperation and low carbon and sustainable development. That's all for the brief introduction. If further information needed, please feel free to contact us. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Ms. Tiang. Now I would like to turn to Ms. Laura Gritt from the Department of Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy of the UK. Ms. Gritt, the floor is yours.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank Dr. Fatih Birol and Dr. Brian Motherway for their comments on SEED earlier on in this presentation. So my name is Laura Gritt. I work in the Department of Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy within the UK government on energy-related products policy. And I'm here today to talk about SEED, which has recently become a task force in the Energy Efficiency Hub. The UK is proud to be a part of the leadership team of SEED alongside the EU, India and Sweden. So SEED, the Super Efficient Equipment and Appliance Deployment Initiative, is a voluntary collaboration between member governments to promote the manufacture, purchase and use of energy efficiency appliances, lighting and equipment worldwide. Currently, SEED has 22 member governments, and I'm sure many of those are represented on this call today. SEED supports appliance energy efficiency policies and programs in its member countries through a number of actions. It works to increase partner participation and engagement. It allows the sharing of experience and expertise between governments and partner organisations. It highlights the benefits and urgency of product efficiency, and it increases the awareness among manufacturers of the market potential. SEED was established in 2009 under the Clean Energy Ministerial, led at that time by the US. It's been coordinated by the International Energy Agency since 2019. The UK, the European Commission and India have co-led SEED since 2016, with Sweden joining the leadership team in 2021. For members of SEED, there are many benefits. Members of SEED have access to knowledge exchange and policy support through webinars, masterclasses and other events. Manufacturers and industry are able to operate in a simpler international market as countries coordinate product policies, bringing benefits for both innovation and economies of scale. Domestic policy making becomes better coordinated with regional and global partners. And with this international cooperation on products policy, enforcement is simpler and in-country oversight becomes easier with the possibility of reducing imports of low efficiency products. Coordinated product policy also leads to lower purchasing costs for consumers and lower energy bills globally due to aggregated demand. SEED operates a number of initiatives and work streams as part of the work it does, and the most recently launched initiative is the Call to Action, which was launched at COP26. Through the Call to Action, SEED is focusing on 4 products that account for over 40% of global electricity consumption: industrial motor systems, air conditioners, refrigerators, and lighting. Doubling the energy efficiency of new products of these types sold across SEED member countries could reduce electricity consumed by over 4,600 terawatt hours per year by 2030, avoid 1.9 gross tons of CO2 emissions by 2030, and result in additional benefits for air quality, jobs, and health. The Call to Action aims to strengthen the SEED initiative to support countries in achieving raised ambition more quickly, easily, and at a lower cost. The objectives of the Call to Action are to set countries on a trajectory to double the efficiency of key products sold.
We're having a bit of a connection difficulties. If Ms. Grit will come back online, we'll give her the floor for a few more minutes to finish her presentation. But in the meanwhile, I would like to turn to Ms. Meredith Evans from the Pacific Northwestern National Lab to speak about the Digitalization Working Group, which is another and a newly established task group of the Energy Efficiency Hub. Meredith, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Christina. I'm really excited to be able to speak with you here today about the Digitalization Working Group that we're launching at this event. I work at the Pacific Northwest National Laboratory. It's one of the U.S. Department of Energy's national laboratories. I had also previously worked at the International Energy Agency. The Digitalization Working Group is a collaboration, a brand new collaboration between a range of both a range of countries from the United States, Denmark, Germany, as well as other countries from the southern parts of the world. On this first graphic, you can see digital decarbonization is clearly driving a lot of our energy policies and energy decisions today. It's the backdrop upon which we often think about what our future planning, what our path forward may be. And the meetings in Glasgow just a few weeks ago, and in the lead up to that, countries committed to new targets on reducing emissions. So those nationally determined contributions, as they're known, have significantly helped and will likely lower future emissions, but there's still more work needed. They don't get us surely enough to 1.5 degrees Celsius as a planet. Digitalization can play a role, we think. It can help optimize energy use, accelerate renewable energy, and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. By optimizing energy use, I mean improve energy efficiency, find ways to better link demand at times that are of most interest, let's say, to the grid, when it's best to integrate renewables, when they are at their peak, when carbon emissions from the power grid are lowest. And overall, that can help reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Digitalization at the same time can mean many things. Part of the initial work of the Digitalization Working Group will be to prioritize and highlight which areas the working group members would like to focus on first. So the Digitalization Working Group will serve as a platform for members to learn about each other's experiences with digitalization and work jointly to understand key gaps and priorities. So next slide, please. Some of the areas that we're considering working in include buildings, industry, and possibly transport, buildings and industry are both currently in our initial work plan. Buildings are important because through buildings, with digitalization, buildings can significantly improve their energy efficiency. They, through things such as energy management systems, smart heating and cooling, connected appliances and equipment that can improve the comfort of the occupants while reducing energy use. Industry, there are approaches to smart manufacturing that can optimize energy and resource use and improve supply chain management, which also allow for differentiation of products based on different environmental attributes. Regarding transportation, digitalization of transportation can improve fuel economy, for example, through route optimization, and enable autonomous driving systems. It can also help with, for example, electric vehicles, where to place charging stations and when to encourage vehicles to charge. For example, charging stations that are at offices will encourage people to charge during the day, when in some countries, in some locations, the peak demands are placed on the grid. Charging stations near residents, on the other hand, may encourage people to charge in the evening. So there are many aspects of digitalization that also relate to transportation. And then, of course, as I mentioned earlier, there are other elements, potential elements of digitalization that the working group could choose to prioritize, and we'll be looking forward in the coming weeks at our kickoff event to get a better sense of priorities for collaboration of the member countries. There are also a few challenges, if you go to the next slide, and opportunities. Next slide, please. So affordability is one. Some of the technologies can be expensive, although they do save energy, but ensuring that the first cost is affordable and countries have the capacity to understand how to best use them. So building that capacity and knowledge. There are also, as you connect more things to the internet and the world in general becomes more interconnected, there are, of course, cybersecurity risks that are important to consider and mitigate. In addition, figuring out what the best role of digitalization is, not simply having digitalization for the sake of digitalization, but figuring out what strategic vision might be for integrating these technologies in a way that makes sense for countries based on their markets, based on their economies, we think is also important. With that, I also would like to mention a little bit about our initial plans. So we are planning on hosting our kickoff event on December 6th. If you're interested in joining that, you can reach out to the EE Hub. You can also reach out to me. My email is m.evans, E-V-A-N-S, @pnnl.gov. That meeting will be an opportunity to learn a little bit more about digitalization, hear what different member countries are interested in, and then we'll follow that on December 13th with a work planning meeting where we get a little bit more into the nuts and bolts of what specific topics we would like to cover. Our overarching plan for our first year is to understand where we are, so do an analysis of literature of the current status quo, understand country perspectives, assess the gaps, and then based on that, develop, plan a detailed collaboration based on the leading priorities, gaps, and opportunities. So with that, I would like to welcome you to the collaboration. We're very much looking forward to this and are excited about the potential and excited about the level of interest and activity we're seeing from many of the member countries. Again, December 6th for our kickoff event and December 13th from there. We'll have a series of events going on throughout the year. So with that, thank you very much and appreciate the time to be able to come to you and speak.
Thank you very much, Meredith. We really appreciate you taking this time, even though it's quite early in the United States right now. And thank you for the presentation of the Digitalization Working Group. Now I would like to give the floor to Ms. Laura Gritt to complete her presentation of SEED. Laura, the floor is yours, yes?
Thank you, Christina. Apologies for the technical difficulties there. So as I was saying, the call to action aims to strengthen the SEED initiative to support countries in achieving raised ambition more quickly, easily, and at a lower cost. The objectives of the call to action are to set countries on a trajectory to double the efficiency of key products sold globally by 2030, support the delivery of crucial national climate change targets, provide consumers and businesses with more efficient products that are affordable and cost effective to own and operate, stimulate innovation, and provide businesses with increased market and export opportunities, and promote a dual course of action, making products both energy efficient and climate friendly by reducing the use of refrigerants in cooling appliances.
Laura, this is Christina. I just wanted to intervene and mention that the sound seems to be...
Day 14.
Laura, the sound seems to be a bit challenging.
Please have endorsed the joint statement.
Laura, unfortunately, we have some connection difficulties during our broadcast right now, and we cannot hear you well or fully understand everything. So my apologies for that. And we would like to, at this moment, go to Q&A. For the Q&A, I would like to actually go back to Ms. Meredith Evans on Digitalization Working Group. And,
the efficiency of these key products.
Can we please cut the feed? Thank you. So I'd like to go to Meredith Evans now with a question of, in your presentation, you mentioned on the second slide, really a triple focus on buildings, industry, and transportation. So I was wondering if there is a specific priority for 2022 for Digitalization Working Group.
Plan. We are very explicitly focusing on buildings and industry. At the same time, we're starting the process of engaging with countries to understand where their areas of interest lie. And so it's possible that we may also look at some elements related to transportation or going beyond the boundaries of industry and buildings. Recognizing that one of the advantages of digitalization is the way that it's connected. You know, the idea that you can use buildings, for example, to lower demand on the grid at times when there's peak demand or when there's peak production of fossil power.
Thank you very much for that. And I'm also seeing a number of questions coming in as well. So the next one is for Mr. Sugai presenting EMAC. So specifically, the upcoming workshop of EMAC is focused on energy efficient buildings. What are some of the key issues you'd like the participants to come away with from that next workshop? Over to you, Mr. Sugai.
Thank you very much for your question. I can answer briefly. Maybe we have two key, if you are requested two keys issues. Firstly, I would like to introduce that we consider it's important to set the energy efficiency standard for building design and operation. Both of should be the easy to understand manner, and how to enforce them forcibly is another important point. So we will introduce EMAC some examples in Japan of how the standards are established and operated at the upcoming event. And secondly, I would like to introduce ZEB, so-called Zero Energy Buildings. It's one of the key ideas for carbon neutrality in the building sector. Japan has developing the ZEB family concept, and it was published as an ISO technical specification recently. But it's not easy to achieve ZEB all at once. So we recommend a so-called step-by-step approach according to the present condition of each country. I think 2 points are listed as follows. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your response. And now I would like to turn to Ms. Lilia Chiang from China and to speak a bit more about top 10s. And specifically, one of the questions I see coming in is you've referred to domestic and international top 10s lists. So how do you intend to engage with the private sector and the academia during the development of these lists? Over to you.
Thank you for the question. We think that the private sector and academia institutions can play a very important role in the process of developing the top 10 lists. Regarding the private sector, it is the major provider of the energy efficiency technologies and practices. Their participation in the top 10 cooperation is very crucial. For example, that in China, half of the top 500 private enterprises engage in energy conservation and environment protection, and they position energy conservation in their long-term development strategy. And also the private enterprises are usually organized by the association. For example, the Industry Association, the Building Energy Efficiency Association, and others. We can reach most of the private enterprises via the association and invite them to participate in the top 10 evaluation and share their advanced energy efficiency technologies and practices. Furthermore, various promotion events will be planned to carry out to help the private sector to spread the application of the technologies. And also, if it is possible, we will also try to establish an incentive mechanism for the private sector in the due course. And regarding the academia, it is the research entity of the energy efficiency technologies, and they know well the development trend of the technology and can easily figure out which technology is better than the other one. So we will invite the academics from the universities and research institutions to take part in the whole evaluation process to ensure that the development of the list is scientific and authoritative. And in addition, that we would like to encourage the cooperation between the private sector and the academia so as to enhance the research capability of the private sector and also jointly figure out the way to increase the market application and the penetration of the technologies. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Chiang. That's very helpful, and it's good to understand how top 10s will engage with the various sectors in order to foster a true international collaboration. Now, one of the questions that I see coming in is actually for Brian Motherway of the IEA. I'd like to turn to Brian. Brian, during your remarks, you mentioned that the IEA is working on digitalization. How will you engage with the digitalization working group of the Hub? Can you please speak more to that point?
Thank you, Christina. And first of all, let me thank the 4 countries who've heard from Japan, China, UK, and US. I think it's a really exciting moment to see these really 4 great task groups coming to be the first task groups of the Energy Efficiency Hub. And we in the IEA look forward to working with all of them as closely as we possibly can, bringing our data and analysis to bear, learning from the task groups, and also hopefully helping synergize all of the work together. Christina, I think the topic of digitalization obviously is core to the digitalization task group, but I think really it features in all 4 we've heard from today, that certainly in our view in the IEA, digitalization is the major trend in energy systems generally, but probably most significantly in energy efficiency. As we see the need to step up energy efficiency progress in the coming years in order to get us back on track for our net zero targets, we certainly see a place for strengthening of existing policy types such as standards and labelling that was discussed in the SEED case. Many conventional policies, if I can call them that, have proved very successful but have a lot of scope to grow and expand their coverage, and all of the task groups will be working on this. But more than that, I do see there's an opportunity for a new generation of efficiency policies driven by digitalization. And again, we've heard it in several of the presentations here. And many countries, many members of the Hub are doing really interesting work on this to think about how digitalization can not only enhance the opportunities for end-use efficiency, but allow us to think more about systems-wide efficiency in terms of grid management, optimizing the use of renewables, thinking about time and location of demand as well as supply, and really bringing some new exciting opportunities to make our own energy use more comfortable, more convenient, more affordable, but also to bring overall costs and emissions down. But all of this needs a policy response. It needs to be enabled by policy and regulators. It needs new market design. It needs protection from threats relating to cybersecurity, data management, data ownership, as well as enabling actions to allow new ways of thinking to be remunerated, new technologies, new business models. So I really think this is going to be a key issue for all of the task groups, but of course the core concentration for the digitalization task group. It's a topic we're working on very much ourselves. We just produced a report for the G20 group of countries under the leadership of Italy this year. And I think there's some really interesting discussions to be had. So I must say we're very much looking forward to being part of these discussions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brian. And I noticed that you alluded to a couple of very interesting risks that also come with digitalization. And with that, I would like to turn to Ms. Meredith Evans and ask her a question. What, in your opinion, is the biggest challenge for the adoption of digitalization, and specifically in buildings? And if you can speak about the challenges and also some of the potential risks that need to be overcome. Meredith, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. I think it depends on the specific situation in given countries. In some countries, simply being able to install advanced controls can be an important challenge. Elsewhere, linking up policies so that, for example, buildings are incentivized to reduce energy at times of peak load on or peak demand on the power system through demand response and other similar efforts. I think that can be a big challenge to organize it and to set up those markets so that they can work in a fluid, dynamic way. And of course, cybersecurity can be a very large challenge. And it's very easy to start installing more and more devices in your home that are connected to the internet. And any one of those, if it's not secure, could create a risk. So making sure that they're reasonable standards, that the need for digitalization and the ways in which it's connected, particularly with the power system, are clearly thought out. And there are clear walls between the different types of connections, so that not every single building connection is actually going to power company headquarters by any stretch of the imagination. So hopefully that answers your question.
Great, thank you. Yes, thank you very much. And now I would like to turn back to Mr. Sugai, representing EMAC. And the question that I see coming in is, one of the pillars of EMAC is really fostering connections between the public and the private sector. Can you share an example of how private sector has successfully informed energy efficiency policy within the EMAC experience? Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you very much for your question. Just I can answer briefly. So first of all, we would like to introduce the case of in Brazil and Indonesia. In Brazil, we, as we already mentioned in the presentation, we produced action guide on electricity peak cuts and savings for demand management and demand response. This is one of the examples that was introduced in that country as a result of the EMAC program. And the other one is Indonesia and also Brazil. Some good practices, good examples with the companies in energy management are shared with policymakers to contribute to the development of policies to promote energy management system in industry. Such kind of the best practice or best good practices produced by the companies is very essential and important for the implementation and development of the policies for the policymakers, I think. So EMAC provides some good example and some latest example of technologies for the mutual understanding for information exchange. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your intervention, Mr. Sugai. Now another question to Ms. Lilia Chiang from representing Top Tens and sticking with this kind of public and private discussion. So what kind of support is needed from the government sector in order to promote the Top Tens lists? Can you please address that question, Lilia? Over to you.
Thank you. We think the top-level planning by the government sector is very important. Firstly, it is expected that the government sectors could lead the establishment of the market-based mechanism, for example, building a green bidding system, which can clearly define that the bonus points could be given in the evaluation process if the advanced energy efficiency technologies could be used in the projects, or building a promotion platform to accurately match the demands of the technology suppliers and demanders. And secondly, we think that financial support mechanism needs to be improved to ensure the government sectors could fund the promotion and application of the energy efficiency technologies and also carry out related demonstration projects. And thirdly, the favored taxation policy needs to be developed to let the enterprises receive tax benefits. And furthermore, we think it is necessary for the government sectors from different countries to develop a mechanism to facilitate the transfer of energy efficiency technologies from the supplier country to the demand country, or develop the third market together. We believe the high involvement of the government sectors will facilitate the promotion of the top 10 lists. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Chung. And now I'd like to start wrapping up the Q&A session by actually posing the last question back to Meredith Evans from the Pacific Northwest National Lab, representing the digitalization group. So some have expressed concern that digitalization could lead to increased use of electricity and production of more waste heat that goes unused. Do you have a perspective on this matter? Meredith, over to you.
So I think that's where planning and carefully thought through systems makes a lot of difference. In general, when you have controls, you actually typically will reduce your energy use, but you have to make sure they work for the people who occupy those buildings or for those particular factories. And yes, it's true that digitalization can use advanced techniques such as advanced computing to be able to optimize how the controls operate. And that computing does use some energy. Typically, it's significantly offset by the energy savings. So it is, I think it would be the rarity to see an increase, but clearly thinking through what makes sense with digitalization, what kinds of technologies make the most sense in a given setup, and how those different technologies can and should be linked across a given economy.
Thank you very much, Meredith. And I also would like to thank all of our speakers today who joined us remotely to really facilitate this hybrid format of the event. And with this, I'd like to conclude the Q&A session and give the floor to Jonathan.
And thank you, Christina, and thanks again to the task group leaders. Christina and I are looking forward very much to working with you closely over the coming months and years. Now I'd like to turn back to the Hub's Steering Committee Chair to conclude today's session. Ulrich, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Jonathan. But before I'm going, to terminate our meeting, I would like to pass the floor to Brian Motherway, because I would like to underscore at the end of our session that the collaboration between the Hub, its members, and the IEA is a key driver of our joint work. And Brian has also a clear view on how we can live the synergies that we have been aiming at when we were discussing, bringing the hub, closer to the IEA, making it an integral part, because this is about joint collaboration, not about a hub collaborating with members and institutions, but also joint work of the colleagues at the IEA, the experts on energy efficiency at the IEA, and the Secretariat and its members of the hub. Jonas. Brian, please.
Thank you, Ulrich. Well, Ulrich, let me commend you personally, Germany, and the 16 members for two things that are really crucial here. First of all, for this level of commitment to energy efficiency. I think it's really fantastic to see such major economies from around the world and many perspectives coming together to really prioritize energy efficiency and the value of working together on that. Secondly, I want to commend you all for what I think is a really smart design of a new collaboration platform, the Energy Efficiency Hub, which allows for a range of countries to work together, big countries, small countries, countries from different perspectives, different parts of the world, and to do so in a way that allows those countries to work together in a dedicated platform that gives it its own identity, but also makes the right level of connectivity to the IEA and to international engagement more generally. I think that we're delighted and privileged to host the Secretariat here and the excellent colleagues that form the Secretariat. We know we're going to be able to work with them very closely to share intelligence, to learn from each other, and to work closely with all of the members of the Hub in a way that can benefit their work on energy efficiency, benefit our understanding, and really bring, as you say, synergies. I think there's a very good match between the kind of work that we do here at the IEA and that the Hub is starting to do. And I think there's really good opportunities. And I can only encourage everybody to stay collaborative and to keep the spirit that we have to date of working together in a way that is really focused on energy efficiency, really focused on how can we learn from each other. And the last thing I'll say, Ulrich, is that in my work on energy efficiency around the world, I really see that there's more, countries have more in common than they do in difference on energy efficiency. They're facing the same policy challenges, they're looking at the same technology options, the same barriers, the same opportunities. And while circumstances can vary a lot in terms of local resources, political economy contexts, there really is a lot in common in terms of the issues countries face on energy efficiency, particularly now as we enter this phase, which is not about the theory, but it's about the practice. How do we accelerate implementation on the ground around energy efficiency? How do we engage industry? How do we engage consumers? How do we design the right regulatory frameworks? That's where there's going to be key learnings through the platforms that the Energy Efficiency Hub is bringing together, and we look forward very much to working with them.
Yeah, thank you very much, Brian. At the end of our meeting, I would like first and foremost to thank Secretariat for organizing the launch event in an excellent manner. Many, many thanks. And also I would like to thank all of our members who are at the IEA at this moment. We were only allowed to have a few members with us here today, but it gives us at least a hybrid feeling of what normally a launch event is supposed to be. And we cordially invite everybody who is here sur place, on the spot, of course, to a small and short reception after this launch event, which we are looking forward to very much. But let me also go back to the substance a little bit before we close. I think there is broad sentiment, not only after Glasgow, but in these recent years, that as regards climate change, the door is really closing, the windows of opportunity are closing, and that we have to get really serious and tough about the policies that we pursue. And this is particularly true for the German situation with the new government. Those who have a chance to study the new coalition treaty, I can only encourage you to do that, because there is really the commitment now to do everything as regards combating climate change in terms of energy policy reform, to get on track on all accounts, including energy efficiency. And that should be encouraging for all of us, because I know that in different parts of the world, that sentiment is shared. This is not just, an expression in the German context. It's just the more recent one, and the one that I know best because I'm working for the German government. But I'm not mentioning it, to show off how great we are in Germany, but just to show, I think we are part of a broader story that is going to be told, and that is a commitment that we have to undertake, because if we don't engage more, if we don't pursue more rigorous policies, we are missing out the chance to really get the planet back on track. And with that, I would like to close. I would like to extend again my regards to all of you that have listened. I hope that we have incentivized some of you that are not members now and are listening to join us, because as I said at the beginning, the Energy Efficiency Hub is an open institution. It is not confined to OECD or IEA member countries, but it is an initiative, an institution that wants to collaborate with all countries who are willing to cooperate, because we want to, reciprocate what we know is a good thing, the exchange of best practice and learning jointly. And with that, I want to wish you a very good day, rest of the day, and I look very much forward to cooperating with all of you. Many, many thanks, and I hope to see you soon in Paris at our meetings sur place once we have overcome, hopefully not too difficult winter. Many, many thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ulrich, and thanks for all of you who have joined us today. If I could permit myself a final comment, the Hub is a unique collection of members. Soon to expand, we hope, but it is unique, and the relationship with the IEA Secretariat is an important one, and it's a two-way street. It's that the Hub members have an opportunity through this forum to highlight what to them are the key challenges in energy efficiency, and help raise for the IEA where it would be useful to focus its analytic firepower in the service of all. So thanks once again for joining us today. This concludes our webcast. The recording will be available on our YouTube channel. We'll have it up on our website as well, along with all future updates. Again, the website is www.energyefficiencyhub.org. See us there, and see us in person and online in future. Thanks and goodbye.
Okay.